Well, we've got something coming up here. We've got some email that we want to bring to your attention. You ready?
No, but give it to me.
Give it to you anyway.
Right,
okay.
let's go.
This is Jennifer, who says, recently my fiance was locked up. Do I stay in the relationship while he's behind bars, or do I cut my losses and move on? I've never had to deal with anything like this.
You know, the terrible thing about these questions is whoever takes them isn't answering enough information. I mean, is he locked up for 6 months, a year, 10 years? For what?
Yeah.
What did he get locked up for? You know?
Well, and many a life has been regenerated.
Well, I mean,
in a situation like
that. It could be, you know, possession of 1 ounce of marijuana, you know, so big deal. It
As
could
opposed
be
to armed robbery.
that yeah, but I mean, is he a member of a criminal gang? Is he going to keep on doing stuff and imperil you? Will he bring you into this criminal enterprise and drag your life down? Or was it some misdemeanor that, you know, he slapped a policeman, or he didn't, you know, he broke a traffic law? I don't know what he did. But,
well, and what's his character, you know?
Yeah, but the answer is I would stay with him for a while. But I mean, if it's 5 years, 10 years, that's a decision that would ruin your life, and it may be time to say, I'm going to move on.
Okay, Pat, this is Patty, who says, I'm a 42-year-old female who has never been married. Most of the Christian singles I meet have been married previously. Is it okay for me to marry a divorced person if there was no sexual infidelity in their previous marriage, which I understand is one of the few reasons God is okay with the dissolving of a marriage? I heard that if I married a person who did not have an, quote, excusable reason for divorce in God's eyes, it would be as if I was committing adultery. Whew. Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one. And since it's a problem to you, I think I would look for somebody who indeed had that problem. Of course, you know, the he may be the one who had the adultery. And
I think, again, you know, this is one of those things where you also have to know what God has done in someone's spiritual life, redemptively.
There's so much I don't get in these questions. You need to go into this in more detail. God is a forgiving God. He's a loving God. And he puts lonely people together in families. And he wants you to be in a family. And he is the author of marriage and the family. So he said, I hate divorce. He hates divorce because what it does is destroy the family unit that he loves. So I don't know why this guy got divorced and what the story was. I mean, what about him? Is he guilty of infidelity? The fact that you know, he's got adultery, but did he commit it? I mean, was the
well, there
wife...
might not. She's saying there wasn't any adultery involved in it; that it's just a dissolved marriage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, was it incompatible? Yeah. And again, was it so bad that he couldn't stand living there any longer? Then you've got the Pauline privilege. There's so much to be taken into account. You know, the other rule is, if your conscience offends you, then don't do it. You know, there's a governor that God puts inside of your mind and in your heart that'll say, this is the way, walk ye in it. Listen to that governor. And if you go against your conscience, don't do it. All right, one last question.
Okay, here's another one that you'll need to use that with. Heather says, my husband and I have been married for 8 years and we have 4 young children. He's not a Christian, he's verbally abusive, and we fight constantly. We've separated 3 times and he has almost left me for 2 other women. I'm unhappy, but I continue to stay so our kids have both parents in the same home. The Bible says we shouldn't be with non-Christians, but God doesn't command divorce. I don't know what to do. I don't want to disobey God.
Again, if the unbelieving spouse is pleased to stay with the spouse, then okay. But if he's made it so difficult you can't live with him, I call that constructive desertion. And it sounds like you're in a constructive desertion. And again, don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. I warn young people over and over again, I don't care how much romantic love you think you've got. If that person is an unbeliever, you're asking for trouble.